Hello there, everyone. In this video, I'll be going through the week 12 programs that we're going to work on. So it says, for the first one, it says write a defining table and a function that returns the sum of the first and last values in an array. The function must have this header, addends, and it takes one parameter list. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with that one. I'm going to open up my text editor here. I'm going to copy my template into a new file and save it. And I will just call this 12a.html. Okay, and we're going to say add ends for that. For our header here, I'll just say program to add ends of an array. And let's look here. So write a defining table and a function that returns the sum of the first and last values in an array. Okay, so we don't need any input here. I will leave this button, and we're going to call the function called, what did they call it? Add ends. Okay, so I selected this and hit Control D to select that next instance. And add ends will take a parameter named list, and this we can pass in an actual list. So I'll just say like 5, 3, 4, 19, 100, big number 6, 2, 19. Okay, so that's my list, or my array. So let's do our defining table real quick before I code anymore. I'm gonna split these real quick. So our input, we have none. We could change that later if we wanted to. We could put in an input. We can do that in a little bit. But for now, just to meet the requirements of the assignment, we're not going to worry about it. Okay, and then thinking about our processing, we know that in our function addends, we're going to have to somehow access the first element of list and the last element of list, and then add them together. So we know we're going to output the sum of the first and last values of the list. And then here, if you think about an array, if I had like an array named list, I could access something in here. I could say like the element at index of 0 or 5, so the 0 will be the first one, but we have to figure out how to get the second one, okay? Or the last one, I mean. All right. And so you might have to Google, how to get like the last element of an array in JavaScript. You might have to do some parsing. But this is how I would start my assignment. I would copy this file path, paste it in here, make sure that it works. And right now I don't really have it doing much. I probably just threw an error, but it won't really do anything. Oh, it threw the error right there because I don't have that input. Okay, but if I save this now and run it, you can see it outputs that output text. And instead of this output text, I'm just gonna do the math. I'm going to get the first element and the last element, add them together, and then output that. Okay, so I hope that this helps to get you started on this one. Next one, it says write a defining table and a function that returns the value of the middle element in an array. If the array has an even number of elements, then this function must return the average of the two middle elements. The function must have this header, function get middle. Okay, so I'm going to copy this program and paste it here and name it 12b, and we'll call it get middle. Okay, I'm going to highlight this and hit Control D and rename this to get middle. And it looks like it'll still take in a list, so I'll leave this the same and that the same, and I'll say program to get the middle of an array. Okay, don't need that. All right, defining table, we still don't have any input. Okay, the processing though, I see this right here. So we need to get the middle element in an array. So if there is a way for us to figure out, get the length of the array, and then divide the length in such a way that we can get the middle element. Okay, but with that, right here it says if the array has an even number of elements. So I might have to say if array length is even, then, I would divide to get that middle element, or I would add the two middle elements and get the average. And then I would return either the middle element value or the average of the two middle elements. Okay, so there's my defining table. I would also want to run this. So I'd copy my file path. I'd also want to run this just to make sure that, I'm getting something. I want to open up my developer tools, make sure I don't have any errors yet, and to give me a nice place to kind of test out this code. All right. The one last thing that I want to show you is um, uh, so one thing with arrays real quick. So if I have an array, so if I say var test array well, that's perfect, equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I say test array dot length, see how autofilled that for me? Length, you can see the length is 5. All right. And that's because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements in this array. Now if I say test array and then I have my brackets here, I can put any one of those indices from 0 to 4 because it's 0 based in here and see what that would spit out. So if I put in 2, you can see that it would output 3 because I have index of 0, 1, and 2, and so it would return this 3 value. Okay, so just a couple quick things with arrays that might be helpful for you as you work on these programs. So with that said, that is where I'm going to stop this video. I hope that this was helpful for you, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching.